front of you, I'm standing here in front of you as the president of the Philippine Marketing Association, and what I'd like to really show you is what we have seen as a trend of sorts, if you would like to do that. And I am also looking at it from a vantage point of my own industry, of where I'm coming from. I am as the brief has said, I'm in the media industry. I'm the media marketing industry, and I've been doing this for quite a while now. We market different media, different sorts of media, from movies to digital to outdoor, out of home. And what I will be showing you would be what we have seen as the things that are happening. The question right now that we have is, what is the future of work? Right? What is the future of work? Okay, let me do that. And for us, the question is now, is it to gig or not to gig? The first speaker this afternoon actually talked about this, but then I'd like to give you this thought as you go through the afternoon today. Is that okay? All right. So when I came into the industry, all of these things that we have now, all of these jobs that we have now, like social media manager, SEO analyst, they were not there. It really was just a media manager, a media assistant, a trade implementer, and that's it. Now you have all of these things like trade incentives. You have all of these things like a digital manager. You have your search specialist. These weren't there before, which was like, what, 20 or so years ago? But then if you think about it, yeah, they were not there, but these other jobs like angkas rider, they weren't there before as well, right? So if you think about it, the evolution has really been, there's really an evolution, there's a revolution and evolution of work. Now, when you think about it, all of these things that have been talked about, we're actually experiencing it right now. What is it? All of these issues on artificial intelligence. I was actually expecting David to talk about that, but then he talked about his platforms, and I will tell you about the interesting link between us and David, which is also what brings us here. So there's artificial intelligence, there's virtual reality, and there's also an emerging economy with all of these workers coming in now called the gig workers, the gig professionals. Or, if you want to be more hip about it, the giggers. Yeah, the giggers. Now, what do you call now those people who give projects to the giggers? Eddie, gig givers. Yan. So you have the giggers, and you have gig givers, who are mostly your companies or even people with projects. And this whole thing that drives it, and this whole thing that's emerging, is called the gig economy. If you think about it, the gig economy is nothing really new, right? You're familiar with your consultants? Who has consultants in a company? I'm sure you do have consultants. You have interim managers at some point. You have your freelancers. I'm sure there are some of you here that are working as freelancers. So really, in a hipper sense, you are gig professionals. The way we do it now, you are gig professionals. And we're looking at this as a real emerging economy. If you look at Upwork, you're familiar with Upwork, right? You're familiar with Upwork. Upwork actually has like 5 million businesses, 5 million professionals inside that network. Here in the Philippines, there's like 25,000 individuals in Upwork. So there's so many already coming into the platform, and that's just one platform. There's so many things. There's so many other things. I'm sure David is doing something like that as well. If not now, maybe later. Okay, now, when you think about gigging, let's think about what are the forces that brought about gigging or giggers. All right? Let me give you 3. First is we have urbanization. Giggers actually love being in urban areas. The denser the area, the more gigs you have. The more urbanized, the more cityfied an area is, there's more work that can be given by giggers. With cities come a lot of technology, with cities come a lot of innovation, and some of those innovation will not be driven if you do not have the special skills given by giggers. Second force, you have digitization. Digitization is actually revolutionizing everything. It's turning everything upside down. It's not just industries, but also the way we get our workers, our labor force. It's bringing everything into its head. So that's urbanization and digitization. And the third force is what we call the millennialization. Millennials are really the working force right now. These are people who are 40 years old and below. Well, I can see a lot of you here, no? I can see a lot of you here right now. These are the working force, and they actually are bringing the gig economy into the way they work. They're more open to open collaboration. They're more open to temporary setups, and that is why they build their organizations that way as well. Since they are open, then they collaborate with people who are open to gigs, which actually fuels the gig economy some more. All right? Now, this was given by one Swedish economist. His name is Andreas Glechowski. He said that workers have had different phases. And this is really funny. Workers have had different phases, and this is something that we should look at. So 3 phases, he identified 3 phases. First phase is the turtle phase. You know, when you stay in one company and you work and forward your job and stay without much drama. I'm sure there are some of you here, okay, well, there might be some of you here who has done that. So, and I'm sure that you've also met a lot of people who have stayed in their companies, not who like the way they are progressing there. They're just steadily doing their job. The second phase is the goldfish phase. You have one worker jumping from a relatively comfortable job or relatively comfortable fish bowl to the next fish bowl. And after that, you move on to the next fish bowl. Right? So we have the turtle and we have the goldfish. Now here's another one, which seems to be what is happening right now. The centipede phase. You have all of these, one individual with so many things to do, so many things happening, studying one subject after another, wanting to do work of different and varied kinds. And that seems to be what they are bringing to the table. This seems to be what these young workers are characterizing themselves right now. They specialize in one, but they have so many other things in their arsenal. So, my question is, which one are you? Are you the turtle? Are you the goldfish? Or are you a centipede worker? The centipede worker is actually one that can be part of a company, but then offers so many other things to so many other people. And they're very comfortable with having different employers and different projects all at one time. They actually like that. They actually like that. And looking at this crowd, I can see that you have a lot of centipede crowds. Okay? All right. Now, why am I talking about centipedes? The reason I am here is because we have found out in my industry that with the intake of millennials as well, a lot of these people in our media marketing industry are also now not just connected to one company, but to others. There are so many things that they can do. They can be media marketers. They could also be social media specialists. They could also be a DJ or even a makeup artist at some point. So all of these facets are all in one person, right? We have discovered that those are the things that are happening right now. And in our media space, we see that happening. So anyway, also in our media space, what we have observed is that there are so many people selling something, but they're only selling to a particular segment of the industry, and that is the media agency industries. But then there's so many people who are out there looking for media, and that is why we have developed a platform, which is what brought me here today. And this platform is called AdMads. This is something that we have developed together with David, and it gives you a platform for all things media. What it does is it brings together all media, whether it's outdoor, radio, broadcast, TV, events even, and puts it in one platform so that advertisers or anyone who would like to get their service, or if there's a media trader who would like to see what else is out there for their brands, can actually look into the platform and see what else is there. Because what's happening right now is that people are representing big media platforms, but not the smaller ones. However, you have smaller ones who could deliver far more eyeballs or even far more engagement for your brands than just the regular big networks. So if you are interested to actually look at what else is out there, then this is the platform for you. Or if you are a media seller, then this is a platform for you. Let's say, for example, you don't have to be an ABS-CBN to be here. Let's say, for example, you have a fleet of taxis. You can be in the network. Or if you have a signage of your house that you feel actually has a lot of traffic, then you could be in the network. Let me show you what it looks like right now. This is our homepage. And as you can see, there is a search capability for this. So if you're looking for an ad space, then you type in what you're looking for or where you're looking. Or if you want to be able to register your ad space, then you can do that as well. Other things that are there, we have an interface for advertisers, so which means if you're an advertiser, you can really look at all of those that are available. Okay. And then with each particular medium, there are different information that are part of the things that we will be asking for. So there is a vetting system and there's a know your customer system that's very, very important. Okay, so this is also the platform that we have and interface for your admins if there's someone in your particular organizations that you would like to administer your entire registration or the entire platform for you. Okay. Now, what's key here is that we bring them together so that they can actually talk to one another, and we really organize the way they transact with one another. So the medium is presented properly, and each advertiser, or each brand person who would like to engage also is given the opportunity to tell them what it is that they're looking for. Right? So all of these are properly managed, all of these are properly vetted, so that it's an efficient marketplace. Because after all, it is a marketplace. Pretty much like Airbnb, when you have Airbnb, when you're looking for space, this is what you're going to be looking at. Now, there are also certain things that we also have here. Other than media, we also have talents as part of the entire community, right? So talents are part of that community because we believe that advertising and the media community is not complete without those talents. So within the platform, we have talents as part of the things that you can look for or the people that you could engage, okay? So those talents are part of that, and we have right now in the system we actually have bloggers, we have different people who would just like to present their services to advertisers. One of the crazy ideas that we had was that if you're someone who would like to just dress up as for an advertiser, that's fine. You could actually present your service. We don't even have to recruit you, just present, So this allows really an easier transaction and an easier way of finding one another. Right. Okay, so that's how it works. So given our platform, I would like to propose something. Given that as admans, we are actually in the gig marketplace right now. We're looking for people who would like to get transactions on a temporary basis, because that's what a gig is all about. It's really a temporary transaction. We're looking for people who would like to be there on a temporary basis, give their service on a temporary basis, and not be confined by employment contracts. Now, I'd like to propose that actually, each and every one of us can learn something from giggers. Whether you're a turtle, a goldfish, or a centipede. Whether you've been working for 30 years, 15 years, or 2 years. I'd like to propose that each and every one of us can actually be giggers. Now, how do we do that? We'd have to look at how do giggers think. Giggers think very differently from your ordinary employees, primarily because they're not confined and they do not have the security that ordinary employees would have. Okay? So, first thing that they are always doing is that they're always networking. Always networking, always trying to find new partnerships, always trying to find someone who can do something with them. So that is something that's very different among them. With employees, they know that they have this role, so they don't need to search for other people because they're already part of a system. Unlike giggers, they have to keep on looking. And giggers also always looking for the next gig. Always looking for something that's the next, because they don't know when their next paycheck is they don't know when it's gonna come. So they're always looking for the next one. Even if they have 15 right now, it's okay. They will do it because they have to be able to sustain their gigs. And giggers, they also own their own study program. They do their own curriculum. They study based on what they feel that they should be doing and they should be knowing. They learn based on what they know, and then expand it accordingly based on what they feel that their path should be, where they should specialize, and what value they should be giving to the business community. So they could study social SEO now, and then study programming later, and then study design, and then maybe even study spirituality later. All right? So they really design their own study program for their own development, unlike employees, where study programs are given by employers, and those study programs are actually good for the employer, not necessarily for the employee, right? So their own study program because they need it. And they always have a financial safety net because, like I said, they don't know where their next gig is gonna come from. So if we are all giggers, then what should our our mentality? What should our mentality be? Let's look at how we can be giggers if that's the case. First is you watch your trends. What's the next big thing? What's really the next big thing, and who is in that space? If there's someone in that space, then should I get to know that person? Should I get to know that person, and should that person get to know me? That's how giggers think. That's how giggers should be, and that's how we all should be. But think about it, entrepreneurs are expected to be that way. So, are entrepreneurs giggers? I guess so, right? They take ownership of their learning. Like I said, whatever it is that you want to learn, you take your own curriculum. You learn what you need to learn. If it's finance, go for it. If it's makeup, go for it. If it's dance, go for it. You also develop your own safety net, and it's not just financial. Financial is just one of them. You have to take care of yourself mentally, emotionally, and physically. Because after all, you are your best asset. You as a person are the best asset. So you as a gigger, you'd have to take care of yourself and surround yourself with people who could help you and who could lift you up as a person. All right? So everybody's a gigger. I'd like to invite you to take a look at our platform as well. AdMads, if you have a medium, then please go there. If you are looking as an advertiser, please go there as well. So to gig or not to gig, maybe, yes or no, semi-gig, full gig, that's really up to you. Thank you so much.